Coming to you live from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live on the Fight Mixer Show.
What's going on? Welcome to the Fight Mixer here. With Andre Ewell, what's going on, brother?
Gear up. Not much, happy to be here on the weight cut.
Sorry about that. Did you guys hear that?
Word.
Yeah, we heard that. Andre, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty well, man. One, thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm so excited. I just heard that you're going to be back fighting. We were just talking about the last episode when you were on, like, when you're going to fight. We're excited to see you fight. Then you got a date, September 19th. You fight against, I'm like, holy shit, super excited, nerded out. And then I get the opponent, and the opponent's a game opponent. He's definitely an incredible opponent, Mr. Rivera. I mean, great opponent, great date. You're back in action, back in training camp. How's training camp treating you?
It's treating me well, Granted that I've been basically out of the cage for 7 months, and that's been nothing but reflecting on me and my energy and my craft for 7 months. So my training camp has been for 7 months, with all the injuries and recoveries and stuff. But 7 months is automatically added with the mentality, like how you stated, with a gamed opponent, opponent that it has heart and ain't gonna take nothing or shy from it. The dude's pretty solid, so I feel like it's a good and great return for me.
Gotcha. And in the last 7 months, and obviously you've been working on some things, and it wasn't about maintaining your skill set, which is an awesome skill set. It was about evolving it. And what new tricks to the trade did you add to an already incredible arsenal?
We could say my kicks. Just the fact is, if everybody known, I had like bucket tears, or I had a bucket tear on my right knee, and then I had to end up getting surgery on my left knee because the left knee was overcompensating the right leg. Just to throw it out there, I wasn't able to actually do or commit a majority of my kicks type thing, or wrestling or anything. So everybody ended up just seeing a person that actually had hands and was okay with throwing nothing but hands, But just the fact that I got all my weapons back, it just automatically opens up the door that I'm going to be able to take it where I want and do what I want. So that's the difference, and something I was able to work on off this time.
And you have a great matchup. I mean, Rivera, his last fight, I think he won by split decision. But he's a game opponent. Like, he's a super, super tough guy, and he'll drag in the deep waters. But what's your opinion on your opponent? What can you piece together about him that you can find some tendencies? Like, what's your strategy with him?
We're gonna break down strategies, like just stated, like his style alone fits perfect with mine. But again, if you ended up flipping a coin, my style fits perfect for him. He's very explosive. He gets to a small frame very fast, just similar to my style. I can cover distance really fast. But here comes down to that moment that his chin is always going to be there for me, just especially my style and the range that I end up having and just how quick I am, just period, But then at the same time, I feel like I have better ground than him. Obviously I feel like this might end up being tested, but there's this other side about the style that I do like about him is what he stated is that where he's from, he's down to throw. And everybody knows where I'm from, I'm down to throw. So it's like your mentality is to keep it exciting. So it can end up punishing you, or it can end up hurting you, or at the same time, it can end up rewarding you. So I feel like in this situation, his face will be definitely rewarded with my fist. But it's smile. You feel me? It'll smile.
And he leaves so many openings, and that's what I like about the matchup. He leaves so many openings out there, especially in his last two fights for the UFC. He leaves these openings out there that you're the type of guy that'll exploit them. If there's a chink in your armor, you're the type of guy that's going to be able to find it, exploit it, like it without giving up. I don't want to see what's behind door number one because I'd rather wait till the fight, which is September 19th. But can you just name like a couple of tendencies that he does that that you can pick up on? Like maybe one, like throw one out there. The magician, I gotta know.
For a magician, okay, I'll give you just one thing is that he does love to leave his chin out, or he leads with his chin. No matter how you end up flipping that, that's a tendency that's always going to end up standing there. Like some people exploit it just to honestly come up with a nice counter, and I'm like one of those type of people. Like I leave my hands partially down for certain amount of time or all the damn time, and everybody jumps on it like, hey, etc., but not knowing there's something behind it. But for him, it's one of those things you always go back to what you know, especially when you're tired and whatnot. And what he knows is how to dart. And his darting, it's what leads with his chin first, and then the hands follow. Or he might end up leading with the hand, but the chin is always out there. So reality, if you give me the chin, I'm going to take it. And what they always say, you make them miss, you make them pay. Or capitalize on whatever they shoot with. I end up looking at it. So it's timing in this game.
Yeah, I kept pointing my chin because I kept leaving it out there. I just want you to say because I see that when he leads in, when he comes in, and he's explosive too, super aggressive, super explosive, but he always leaves that chin out. And you're an accuracy striker, and I just see that opening right there, like for the picking, especially coming into this matchup with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Doesn't matter how you end up flipping it, because granted, like he can end up, but there's not enough time right now in the game or where he's at to be able to end up fixing that little problem. Like that's a problem that will always be there. Like like I stated, when everybody ends up getting tired or they got to go back to something of, hey, I got hurt and I got to flip back to something. Some people go straight to wrestling because that's what they know. Like or fall back into something that they just done repeatedly. And a prime example is like when Conor fought Diaz.
Yeah.
When he got cracked pretty hard. And granted, if he actually just would have probably withstood the whole punching instead of shooting, I think he might have survived that round and whatnot. But he went back to what he was used to, and it was wrestling. Because like a lot of people don't end up understanding, Conor was actually kind of like a low-key wrestler, or he'd been working on a lot of his wrestling type thing, especially like for people like Diaz, which is a black belt. So you gotta end up working your way or working your game to honestly flip and fold and work around people that are good at certain things. So yeah,
Right. I don't know why he would shoot for a fucking. Back on the subject, I don't know why Conor would shoot for that fucking takedown. Like, who in his corner called that? Like, shoot for the takedown. Like, Conor has never ever been a wrestler, so he corrected that in the second fight. But like, what the fuck,
Yeah, that was something like I was like 100% on, and everybody was on. But in reality, like I said, it's what he was practicing the most for was scrambling takedown. So and when you kind of get revert back to what you're used to or what you've been working to, there's always two doors. It ends up happening in that way, So stuff like that, you just got to end up like picking and fixing. And like I stated with Irwin, no matter what he does, his chin's always going to be there. So there you go.
So as an athlete too, because my tendency when I'm in sparring and I get rocked, I go right to wrestling. Like the wrestling switch goes on and I shoot a takedown. Like so, why would I even badmouth Conor? But like I wrestle, so like that's my go-to is shooting for a takedown when I'm hurt. Like when you're in that dark place where you get knocked on the noggin and it's all cloudy up there. What's your go-to like panic mode? What do I do? How do I recoup? Like what's your strategy when you get into dark waters? And
Dark waters, throw the shit out of my left hand. My bad. I don't know if I'm cussing by you, I'll throw the mess out of my left hand, man. Like the way I look at it is like you're gonna have to take me out on my shield. It just is what it is. Like, And don't get me wrong, I've been there, I've been in the dark waters type thing, and that situation, the survival kicks in, it's what and I'm a boxer mentality. Like, it's something that I've been used to is throwing these hands. Like, so me trying to shoot for a takedown, especially when I'm tired, I already know that's like downhill for me. And I ended up being around a lot of people that ended up having that mindset of, oh, let me go to wrestle. But you aren't supposed to wrestle when it's convenient for yourself, not wrestle when you're in panic mode. And that's how people end up understanding that.
Right. That's why you're the pro, I'm the schmo. But besides that, after this, you get past this guy. You get past Mr. Rivera. What's next for you? Now the ball rolls in your court, and now you can call the shots. Like, what's next for you, or what do you want, or who's the next opponent that you want?
All right, so we got two answers. First answer is if my boy Woodley want to tag me in, I'll go ahead and I'll fight Covington for him. You feel me? And if not that, all I need to do is make 100K followers, okay? And they said I get to fight Derek Lewis for the chicken bucket. Told me, I said okay, and I was game. So you guys get me to 100K followers. That's all I gotta get to.
Andre, I like you, man. Please do not fight Derek Lewis. I beg of you, sir. Please,
man, I
sir.
got speed on him. I'm like the rooster. I got speed on him, baby. Look.
I will make you a GoFundMe page to avoid you fighting Derek Lewis. I'll pay you. I'll find a way to pay your purse. Just please don't fight Derek Lewis. I beg of you. Punch Kobe Covington, maybe, but please, no. I beg of you.
He owes me some damn Skittles. I can tell you that. Like the man's over here, like because the time that I ended up meeting Derek Lewis, right? It was Houston card when I fought. He was in there. He was cutting weight and everything, or I was cutting weight. He was eating Skittles. You feel me? And I was sitting there in the sauna while he's walking in there, just munching on Skittles, and I'm like, that's cold. Like you guys are just gonna eat Skittles while I'm over cutting weight. So they don't gotta it's a bag of Skittles. We gotta throw hands right now. They said 100K. That's 100 pounds right there.
Oh my God, he's the funniest guy ever. I remember he was playing on the same card as Habib and Conor McGregor, and he's losing all 3 rounds. Last minute, he fucking turns it up, hits that overhand right, goes on the microphone and tells Joe Rogan his balls are hot. Greatest.
Balls are hot.
He said my balls is hot.
And you could the bar speakers were outside too, so you can hear it all outside. So it was glaring. My balls are hot, and it was like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Rogan was speechless.
Yeah, you gotta be. But no, shout out to him, Derek Lewis. He's cool peeps.
Yeah, man.
But
I like it. Personally, I think the Kobe Covington fight would actually be a good fight. I think he throws in volumes. He'll rely on his wrestling. He didn't do it against Usman because he knows Usman. There's a 50-50 shot. Usman will stuff those takedowns, and Usman's wrestling is super good. So, but he throws in volumes. But he's just a guy that I don't necessarily think. And I've had him on my podcast before. Kobe Covington's a great guy. His character he plays, I highly disagree. That's the marketing move because it really hasn't drawn him money. It hasn't made him money. But I think that would be a good matchup between you and him. Just saying.
See, look, now you make me feel good. Like hands down, like I always end up saying that. Like I always end up hearing like 2 sides of the story or the coin with him. Like there's one side where he's just a douche, and then there's the other side where it's like he was never always like that. And then and like I said, he ended up taking the Sun-in direction, I guess. But how you end up looking at it, the way I look at it is, it's whatever you end up presenting into the cage. It's what's been sold with me. It's kind of like, hey, they tell you the truth the first day. That's what you got to believe. So if they're over here breaking candles, we know to keep candles away from the person type thing, But either or, and all in all, in a standpoint, he automatically gets respect off of his fighting style. Like, the dude can throw, he can wrestle the whole 9. Like, it's nothing but respect there. But this is other situations, like I said, like I'll end up love to fight him in the future. That would be like awesome. But obviously I gotta move up weight to do that. I'll do that with fun.
I mean, it would be a fun matchup. It would be awesome. I mean, he's no longer with American Top Team. I had no idea who he's training with. I mean, I don't know how he's going to appear with Tyron Woodley. What do you think about? What do you think about that fight? How's it going to go between Tyron Woodley and Kobe?
So like I said, I'm always gonna be Team Woodley. Just factors in. Woodley's like a big brother to me, man. Like the first time I ever met him, he was spitting nothing but knowledge to me. So he was like running the game with me and everything. So he automatically has 100% my respect, and the fact that he grading like his last 2 fights wasn't the best, but I don't know if you noticed, like out of all 3 of the dang opponents, they all have like very similar styles, all very unique, and he didn't have to really much change his training camp for it. So in reality, he has trained for this fight for 3 fights, if you end up looking at it. And out of the 3, I feel Usman is better, and then it comes Gilbert, and and then comes Covington, and I feel like he should be able to beat Covington. But again, I know a lot of people are going to end up saying no to this and no to that, but I'm Team Woodley with this right now.
Yeah, I love Woodley to make a comeback. I mean, I don't know what the missing piece of the puzzle. I mean, I ever since he fought Usman, I see something missing. That confidence, that swagger, that like what can you identify as something he needs to? Do you see that? Like there's something up or something?
I think I just feel like if anything, he took a lot of his time on his music career, basically his life, just in general. Like you can end up seeing like when like something's getting pulled from you because you're doing something else. Just like for example, when it comes into like styles, right? You got jiu-jitsu, you got wrestling, you got boxing, okay, and then you got Muay Thai. So all 4 of them. If you end up favoring something else a little bit more, or favoring it just a little tad, or you're trying to basically circle yourself around, most people can say, hey, that's complete, but other people can say, hey, you're lacking off on one thing. And right now, what Woodley was happening, he was just lacking off the factors in his we can say it's that inner warrior to just throw. Like, he was so used to always dropping people with one hand, or to the factors in that he'll outpoint people or out wrestle or just jits. But if you end up looking at it, he's fighting people that are automatically expert at certain things. Like, like this. Woodley's a great wrestler, right? But Usman is an awesome wrestler. If you go to Covington is a wrestler. And this is why I say that I feel like Woodley's a better wrestler. But I know a lot of people can end up arguing that case. But if you go to Gilbert, like, he's a black belt that wants to break your neck. It's like a pit bull on steroids that wants to rip your neck off. And then, you place him up in there with that, you end up getting a different story where it's like, okay, I can't really throw with this dog because, hey, he's kind of buff. Like, like hands down, Willie might crack the mess out of him, but he just walks through it. You got to think about it. Willie cracked him and he walked through it,
Yeah.
So you kind of end up seeing different things. So I feel like if you end up placing him with somebody he might be better than, you see a different Woodley. Like, but right now you're just catching people that Woodley's going against, people that basically are better or way heavier on a lot of situations. Like, so, it's just like that. It's like, granted, like a lot of, like how we end up saying my opponent, Irwin, right? Right now on books, I'm a better hands standing up. I should be better, hands down. But no one ends up calculating the factors in. All right, hey, he might have heart, or oh, hey, Dre might be sick that day, or oh, hey, this might end up happening, or that might end up happening, and just that can end up weighing up for boy to end up being spectacular, or I could just be off that day, or what end up being the case. So right now, what we saw was off Woodley. I think if we had on Woodley, I think he beats those last 2 opponents. Right. So right now, that's just like I'm betting on. I'm thinking that he's going to be on when he fights, Covington for that fight.
And we got the host, Mr. Andre. We got the host from Wednesday show, Karina. What's going on, homegirl?
Hello.
Sorry, just randomly popping in.
Yeah, you did. I was like in the middle of it. I wanted to say someone just popped in. I don't know if this is real or real. Like,
I'm just some random chick that showed up. Like, what's up? I don't know. I was thinking supposed to be here, but yeah, I was just listening to you talk. Hi, how are you?
Pretty well. Yourself?
Good. I'm actually in my MMA gym right now in my boss's office. So if you hear some bells, don't mind them.
Got you.
Making things happen. But I was hearing you talk about Woodley. So I don't know where was I when I jumped in on all this. Tyrone Woodley, he's in St. Louis with me, so I don't know him. I wish, but he's in St. Louis area, so that's why I'm like, I know his gym's like 20 minutes away from me.
So what we were talking about was something. I feel that there's a puzzle piece missing, especially from his arsenal or whatever. since his fight with Usman. I don't see that swagger, that confidence.
Yeah.
Andre was nice enough to actually, give us like an inside scoop of what could be going on or what is happening. And pretty much the pick between Kobe Covington and Woodley. So he was giving some insight, and he's all Woodley. I think Woodley can pull it off. Covington is very dangerous, especially when he throws in volumes and gets in his zone and brings people in his quicksand. But what do you think, Karina?
Me? I don't know. Woodley's down here with Masvidal, as far as I know. You got. He's been in.
No fucking way.
Am I not supposed to be saying this?
No. It's already out there. That's another thing I was saying. It's like,
it has to be because he showed Masvidal show that he was in St. Louis. He came in, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks ago. My friend posted a picture of him, and he was like, "Look who I'm with." I'm like, "No fucking shit." His car actually got stolen. I think like 2 days into being in St. Louis. Like, welcome to St. Louis.
That's St. Louis.
He's been down at Tyron Woodley's gym. And I haven't seen too much. I actually thought he only stayed a couple of days. I don't think he's gone up to the SCMMA, the UFC gym out there. But he's been down here for, I think, 2 weeks. I could be wrong about the time span, but he's been down here for about 2 weeks with Woodley. And that's
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And that was like the whole point I was saying. Like, he had his 3 fights, and Covington being the third one. It's like he had similar training camps, and it's like, dude, he's been really preparing for Covington. If you honestly sit here and think about it, like, I've been preparing for Covington for like the last 9 to a whole year, just to fight him. So that's why my money's on Covington, or my money's on Woodley at the moment.
Did you do anything? I'm sorry for interrupting you, Karina. What were you saying?
No, you're fine. Go ahead. I was looking at actually.
So I was going to ask 2 questions. One, have you ever met Jorge Masvidal? Have you ever ran into him, bumped into him? And have you brought in anybody for your training camp in preparations for Rivera?
No, and no. No for everything. No, because the fact is that everybody at my gym's already like straight killers, to be honest. Like, I have my teammate Jalen Turner, like he's there. He fights this weekend, so points to him. And points to Roll, that also fights this weekend as well. Ended up working with both of them. So it's like everything I end up doing, it's automatically suited and booted for it. And, I have awesome teams that ends up putting me in scenarios that I need to be in, and all down to freaking kill me. So, make me feel very depressed. Like, this is my face on a box cover right now. And so, so just end up knowing if I end up missing, that's what really happened. They killed me. Okay.
What are some of what are the teammates that we know that you would actually train with? Can you name some of them off that you get most of your rounds in with, or are you pretty much some homegrown boys that you're training with out there?
I can definitely say I'm very homegrown off the situation, but I know you guys definitely, like I said, you should know Jalen Turner and Rowe. Like I stated, those 2 are the ones that are probably would be closest on the high alert of up and comings for the UFC and everything. But majority of anything, I've been like working with like a lot of boxers and whatnot, or was until I got the fight, and then I kind of like more been like set on like jiu-jitsu and everything, So Sean Rivera. Oh, he's gonna kill me, but but yeah, Sean Louise, like, so they have been on like all along my dang, like I said, my bumper and whatnot. So it's more of the assault bike. If you guys know anything about that, the assault bike, that's my my new opponent that's came and brought himself into my game of training.
Aren't you ready for it? I was gonna say who I was looking up earlier was, I know like someone else was out here, and it's actually Jillian Robertson. I think I told you that, Matt, or I think I told you, David. But Jillian's been out here, so I don't know if they're training together too. But she's been out here at the UFC gym with Kelly D'Angelo training.
Is Shorty out there also, or
probably? Which, yeah, probably. I mean, I think they go hand in hand wherever they go.
That's just a town full of fucking killers right there, my friend.
I know. He's a nice guy. I said,
that's like Murder's Row right there.
They've all been at the Woodley gym. I know Jillian has been there. I've been totally being like a chismosa and being all nosy about that gym. Like, so
right, so
kids about who's secretly trained in St. Louis, I got you.
So Andre obviously has other commitments. He's got to hype up this fight. I can't wait to see him fight September 19th on ESPN, UFC Fight Night. Andre's about to put it down, and I can't wait to see it. Andre, any last words? I can't wait to see you fight. I'm so glad you're back in action. Any last words?
Oh, final last words. One, thank you for having me and talking to all y'all. Thank you. And two, it's Team Ewell all day. So anybody and everybody that's part of Team Ewell is nothing but love, and we're gonna automatically push that forward. And I'm also excited to be back too, because after I get done with Irwin, I'm coming from a bucket of chicken, Derek Lewis. You feel me? That's what we're talking about.
Bro, I beg of you, do not fight Derek Lewis. I beg of you. Please do not do that.
Hey. For us skinny
I'm
people,
starting a
we gotta
GoFundMe
eat too.
page. Please don't.
Yeah.
All right. All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, man.
Hey, likewise. Appreciate y'all. Bye.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Hi. That was random.
Hello.
That just happened. Yeah, that was
Come on.
breaking for a second. Said, I don't know what to talk about since I don't know what you guys covered. And he seems like a pretty chill guy, though. I like coming in on that a little bit, though.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Yeah. So, how are you
So,
guys?
so you got, you said Woodley over there, and
Woodley's in. He has his gym. It's not. I don't think it's very active. I hope he's not watching at all ever. Just because I'm like, I don't. It's not a very active gym. I actually forgot that his gym's out here until I saw that Jillian Robertson was there, and then I noticed that Jose goes in and out of there, and then I saw Masvidal, and I was wondering where he was. I think I'm lagged for a second. I don't know what's going on. And it says my name is Andre, not Andre.
oh, let me move that.
But he probably ended up being here maybe for the weekend, and it just so happened that he came in here the same weekend as Jillian Robertson, which I thought was cool. And one of my girlfriends has been trained out there. She's been trained out, like I said, Kelly D'Angelo out of the UFC gym that's out here in St. Charles, St. Louis. But Masvidal has been really on the down low, aside from getting his car apparently stolen, which was not a very nice welcome from us.
That's fucking crazy. Is it like that? Is your town like that where steal cars and all that crazy shit?
I mean, I love
Come on now.
you know.
Really? I've never been here. I've never been there.
Yeah, I love it. Everything's free and cheap, and there's a lot of people in the fight community, and you can go to whatever gym because everything's really accessible. So you can get a lot out of it. We have good fight promotions, actually. Everything in entertainment-wise, like museums and such, is free. It's a cool city, but yeah, you do have a little bit. I have been robbed at gunpoint. I have
No fucking way.
had several things happen, and I definitely live in a loft now with double gates, and it just depends on the city, and I don't know. It's nothing bad. It's city life. That's all it is.
Are you gonna be training for your next fight soon?
I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you back in training? Are you going to be training for your next fight? What's going on with you?
Me, I have been taking a long break since January, since I had an injury where I broke my orbital bone and my nose to a hefty kick from a pro fighter, which at least it was from a pro fighter. That's nice. It wasn't from some amateur fight, but which is nice. So I can just say that that's, I still can't feel part of my face, actually. Like this bit is numb from the kick, and because I think it got a bit of my nerve jammed in there. And so I'm really sensitive about the way my face is touched. It doesn't hurt. I just weirded out by it. So I haven't actually been sparring or anything. I just been doing more strength training and weight training, which definitely takes a toll on kicking. So hopefully probably 2021, I'll probably get back into maybe 1 or 2 more fights or so. I'm really unsure.
Maybe do a bare knuckle. Well, not a bare knuckle. Maybe do like a couple of like grappling tourneys or something like that. Grappling tourneys.
And then COVID happened. It was like, fuck no, you're not going to do that. Sit your ass down. So I'm actually really good on the ground. Aside from if anyone looks up my MMA match, please don't. It's really bad because I'm actually really good on the ground. I have a great grip because I do aerial, so I can hold on for your life. So, what's up, Alex? Hi.
Oh, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
Doing good.
We're just talking about girly shit.
Oh, okay. What's going on?
We're here with Bruce Leeroy. What's going on, brother? How you been? Congratulations on your win.
I've been good. Hold on. I'm trying to work out this camera.
All of
Okay.
the
There we go.
Brother, congratulations on your win. August 29th, huge win, like in the first like minute and a half. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. You know, it was a good win.
Okay.
Definitely quick and easy.
I always love your entrances.
Had that by submission.
Yeah. I've been wanting a submission win for a while now.
What is the feeling like that when you get that submission win versus another? Like, is that something more? Do you feel different about your fight or how things performed, or is it not changed? I mean, a win is a win.
Yeah, well, yeah, in a way. I mean, it's always good to have a finish, you know, like it kind of
Always.
feels like when you have a finish, it's like you prepared for, you know, for a fight every time. You always prepare for a good like 15-minute good war if necessary, but then when it ends so quickly, especially when no damage is taken, it's kind of like, did it really happen like this? Like, is it over still, you know? And I don't know. So it feels
Yeah,
good.
unsatisfied, but you need more.
So I got introduced to you through Tough, the season with Josh Koscheck and GSP, and you had the Bruce Lee the Bruce Lee yellow suit tracksuit on, so I was immediately a fan. And they said, "Oh, your nickname is Bruce Leeroy." And one of my favorite movies ever is The Last Dragon. And I'm like, "Oh, this guy's definitely got the glow." So like, but how'd you get started with mixed martial arts, and how'd you land in Tough in that situation to start your UFC career?
Well, the way I guess started with mixed martial arts, I started wrestling in high school, um, and then that's where I met my friend, the guy who you guys saw as my corner for the last fight, Enrico Coco, and he introduced me and my brother to mixed martial arts, and we went to his gym. We started training in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. And then from then on, we went to different gyms and trained around and whatnot. But that's how we were introduced to that. As for being on the Tough Show, I was just kind of like, I guess for lack of a better term, like bumming around, just getting fights and whatnot. And my brother told me that they're having these tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter. So we just drove up to, I believe it was North Carolina, and just tried out. And it was for 155, so I just jumped up a weight class and said, "Fuck it."
Fucking awesome. So,
Story of success.
are you saying, Karina?
I was just curious about the tryouts. Like, what that process is like.
Oh well, we got there, and then it was just a whole bunch of people. I forgot who was there, but I just know it was like they just make you grapple against each other, and then they do they hold mitts for you, and then they do a short interview, and then they go from there, and then they call you to come to Vegas, and then when you go to Vegas, you do some more interviews and some screening, and then they set you up with a fight to get into the house.
That's interesting. I was curious
Awesome.
about that process.
So how was working with Josh Koscheck and GSP? Did they give you good advice? Especially you have a long tenure in the UFC, my friend. Like through all these different eras of the UFC, like post buyout, now in the WMG era. Like, did GSP and Koscheck kind of give you some good knowledge, give you some good advice, especially leading to your career, and a career that survived both of them? So, any good advice that they gave you?
Well, it's funny. In the beginning of the show, before it started, I came in overweight, surprisingly, and Josh Koscheck actually helped me cut the weight. But for GSP, I think he was just a great example on how to carry oneself, especially as an elite athlete and one that fights for a living as well. So he definitely kind of showed us the ropes for those who were listening, but it definitely changed the way that I looked at my career and treated my career as well.
Karina? So and of course working with GSP, and now you were in the GSP era where he was selling out arenas and selling out houses, and you went to the Conor McGregor era where he got his money from shit talking and everything like that. You know, your character, you know, it's sellable considering that, you know, you're being yourself and you have sold tickets and sold yourself just being yourself. You know, have you ever been tempted to go down that road and go down that path of, unlike a GSP, start talking trash, start, you know, showing that trash talking? Like, what made you stay the course and just stay yourself throughout the, you know, the GSP era and the Conor McGregor era?
I never really thought of it that way. I just don't see any other way of being. I guess I don't know about trash talking about people that I don't know. I guess, you know, or getting mad at people I don't know. We're gonna fight anyway. There's no point in. I guess I don't see a reason in trash talking or trying to scare the person. I mean, if we signed a contract, we're kind of committed, so it's gonna happen either way. It doesn't matter what's said or what happens before that. As long as you don't get injured and I don't get injured, we're gonna fight.
Cool.
I don't care if you come in overweight or underweight or whatnot. It doesn't matter to me. So, you know, we're gonna fight. That's so I think it's kind of pointless. That's all.
And you said it's because of his long career with the UFC. Alex, have you noticed a difference from where you began and obviously you fought more well-seasoned people along the road as you've stayed in the UFC and you've been there for a really long time. But have you noticed a difference in the fighter since the beginning to now? Is there a change, or is there something that, you know, brewing that maybe we even don't see it on the fan side, where fighters are coming in with a different technique that you're not used to? Like, oh, I haven't seen that shit before. Or they're preparing in a different way. Like, how has that changed, like, the competition, like, from the beginning to where you are now? What have you noticed?
I a lot of different things. You know, I feel like there's a lot more athletes than there are fighters, for sure.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You know, I think in the more modern age, I think we see a lot of great athletes. You know, they can perform really well physically, but we've kind of like, or for the most part, at least, I couldn't say everything because we still got those people still there and even new ones coming in. But for the most part, we're kind of drifting away from people actually wanting to get into fights.
That's a good way of looking at it, or a way of stating it. They're a good athlete, but they're not the fighter, which I could definitely see in a lot of people where they maybe fall short when they enter the ring or into the cage. And you see that transition from what they're doing, their physical ability, and, you know, whatever physical ability you have or whatever health state you're in, and then you get into the cage and it's a totally different story for people to translate that, you know, over to a fight. That's an interesting way of putting it. So,
but you do see, but I have been seeing too, like fighters, martial artists too, becoming more athletic. You know, I think that's what's been a major part in a lot of being more successful. Like, for instance, Georgia Masvidal, or I could even say even for me, you know, me treating my body more as an athlete, but still keeping that fighter mentality. Sure helped me a lot for that.
So where do you see your trajectory? You know, obviously you have still goals to obtain. Yeah, who would you want to fight next? What are the goals that you're trying to reach right now?
I honestly don't have a preference. They say I can go definitely higher in ranking. You know, look for that. Anybody there would be ideal. But other than that, I don't honestly watch the sport enough or keep up with it enough to know who's next for me to fight. You know, I just enjoy what I do, and when they give me the call and give me the opportunity, I'm going to show up.
Gotcha. So, your last opponent and your last few fights, what have you changed, or what have you felt that you added to your arsenal from your last few fights?
Well, I've definitely been working on my grappling and my ground game a lot, getting more confidence in that, which I feel keeps bringing more confidence in my striking ability. I'm not afraid of those exchanges. I'm not afraid of going to the floor or being able to defend against it as much as before. So I think that helps me out opening up on my striking. I've been also simplifying things, relying a little bit more on boxing and footwork, and slowly implementing all the other cool shit. But other than that, I think just kind of calming down, essentially calming down a lot more and just relaxing.
And you've always been like an exciting guy too, like from your entrance, from the time you're in the cage. Like, what was the one fight that made you say, okay, now maybe I have to slow down a little bit, maybe kind of take my pace, keep my same pace? Like, what made you kind of change that?
Well, it's always been something that I've been needing to work on, in general, which is having a little bit more patience and controlling my excitement a little bit more. So it's something that I've been working on just throughout, I guess, throughout my whole career, just trying to get better at that. But it's something that my coaches also always notice in me as well, that sometimes I go too fast and I run through the move too fast, and I either go over it or I miss it or I mess it up some way, just because I'm not. I need to slow things down and simplify them.
It's just a story of everyone's life. Is that how? Is that? That's for me for sure, at least. How was it then in your first fight to now? Have you been? Is that how it was in the beginning? Did you rush on in, and were you always like that anxious fighter going in, and then you chilled out, more seasoned fighters, or is that how maybe you built up to be that you're more fast paced and you need to slow yourself down now? Has that changed, or was your first fight?
Well, it's kind of, well, I guess for the first fight, that was just yeah, that was pretty fast paced. Just mentally, just the thought process was going fast. I know I'm gonna move fast, and I know physically that I'm pretty agile and I'm gonna move fast, but it's just slowing my mind down, I guess, slowing my thoughts down and kind of embracing uh, the fact that I'm in this very intense and high paced moment at the time. Um, I guess that's a better way to put it. Just learning how to embrace um, that you're in a fight so well that you're not necessarily running circles in your head.
Yeah.
But definitely, I feel like I calmed down a lot since for my first fight.
So speaking of fighting, obviously from a fighter standpoint, we've seen a lot of you, and I'm a big fan of yours. And from a fan standpoint, what fights are you looking forward to the most, and why is it Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.?
Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, what fights are you looking forward to the most coming up in the UFC, boxing, anything?
Oh,
I got your joke.
I don't watch fighting, man, and I'm not really. I can't really tell you, to be honest with you. I mean, if I see it and then it looks interesting, I probably watch it.
Do you get excited at all about any of the fighters, or you're like, I'm here for nobody, whatever? Or are you like,
Well,
a little fangirl sometimes and we don't know about it?
no, I guess during the fight, if I'm watching the fights, it's exciting. Fights are exciting for sure, but it's not something that I go to look for to watch, or something that's in my interest to watch.
I guess it's kind of like the football player never really watches the football games or anything like that. Is it something that you don't necessarily like watching unless you're doing it, or is there a particular reason you haven't watched the fights or kept up with the sport, or you just focus on your own career and just one track mind, just focus on what you're doing and not what everybody else is doing?
I think we're losing him.
No.
Oh no.
It's a smile though. It's a nice look. At least it wasn't.
Yeah, it's a nice jump out. So
Yeah, we might have got disconnected with Mr. Alex. Damn.
So I'm like, I was wondering if it was connection or if it was my connection. I couldn't tell because I was in a different place this time.
Shit.
Well, damn.
I think there's a little bit of a lag too, and I think that's why, like, I don't know if you're trying to talk and I don't want to interrupt you and everything like that. We gotta get this. Hey Matt, listen, producer, listen, sir, let's get on the ball.
Is he coming back? Did we bring him back?
Oh,
Is he here? You were here.
I think we got this connected.
I think we lost him for a second.
Alex,
Yeah,
can you hear us?
Okay, so yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I think your video is actually the lagging part where you can hear us. You left us on a cliffhanger.
Well, we don't want to keep you much longer, so the connection's kind of cutting in and out. So do you have anybody you want to give shout-outs to, any promoters or any sponsors or anything?
I think we lost him again.
Lost him again.
Damn. It happens.
Damn. At least it's a nice face. Like I'm saying, people have come all crazy looking sometimes. I thought you were actually lagging too. I didn't know. That's why I thought it was me. I thought everyone was lagging or something.
Yeah, I was lagging too. Matt, what's going on, brother? Come on.
I can't control the internet. It's out of my realm.
Yeah.
He's such a chill guy, though.
Anything. Not one.
That's what I was gonna say. It actually reminds me of GSP because I remember just listening to one of his interviews and he was talking about. I think I mentioned this to you before, where he likes training up until the point where it's time to go in, and someone asks him like, do you like to fight? He's like, fuck no, I don't like to fight. That's the last thing I want to do is go in there to fight. But he's like, he'll kill you. He's just such a nice guy. GSP seems like. But he'll tell you, in his interviews, he's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking go in there. I have to, but I don't want to go in there. So that's why he can remind me.
I mean, I kind of see it from his point of view too, because when you're watching a UFC event, you're potentially seeing your next opponent, or you're potentially seeing somebody that you're going to fight down the road. So maybe that's the reason why he's not necessarily into watching it. I don't know, Karina. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, when I've been in my matches, I don't like to watch them before I go in. I try and zone out and I get really deep into my music and such like that. And I try not to think about anyone because I know my anxiety will shoot up out the roof, especially when you're going in there to do something that's completely unknown in front of a million. And for him, in front of millions of people. For me, it was only in front of a couple hundred people. And to hear people, you hear something hit the mat and then you hear people screaming and it's like, and you just hear the countdown coming. It's a lot of anxiety behind. So I don't know if it's maybe just some of them are the day of and right beforehand, they don't want to think about it. Or if it's maybe always like, I know a lot of fighters that don't want to watch. My boyfriend does not want to watch. I mean, I'll sit there. I'm like, dude, babe, he just knocked this dude out. Like you have to work on this, this, and this, and this. And this is why, this guy is going to lose to you because we're going to work on these things. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to watch it. He doesn't want to care about it. I'm all about it. I will stalk you. I'll know what your favorite ice cream flavor is. Like, so yeah, I guess it's everyone's different, their mindset, what works for them. And I feel like everyone does have anxiety at some point, and they just know how their body works and what works best for them. Me, I don't want to hear it, but I'll look you up beforehand. So.
Right. My last fight, I was like, we have a little bit of an echo.
Damn. My boss's office.
We're having all sorts of problems, Karina. What's going on?
Where?
I think you're muted.
Did I mute it?
I muted.
Good. I can't work an Apple computer.
So my last fight, I was like a kid in the face. I was the happiest to be there. I was watching the fights from down below. I started warming up. Like I was just happy to be there. I think that's the difference between and my last two fights ended in a loss and ended in a draw. I was just happy to participate. As a competitor, I think it's just completely two different mind states where, you and your boyfriend who are active competitors, You know, it's kind of nerve wracking. You see someone hit and you're like, oh shit. You know, it's like it's like the Roman gladiator Colosseum. Somebody just got fucking eaten by a tiger and you're about to head in there. I see from your point of view, like as a competitor and who's looking to make a name of yourself, you know?
Yeah. Oh
Crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, going in there when you're done at all, it's amazing. But I'm the person that will rush in there, and I have a hard time transitioning what I learn and what I can do, and I know I can do it well outside the cage. I have a really hard time transitioning that inside, so I need to do all that I can to calm myself down because I have a temper, so I want to go in there, you know, want to rip the person's heads off, and so the best I can do is just chill. You had a draw though. How was that?
Oh, it's fucking awesome. So it was on 48-hour notice. So originally I was gonna fight this guy, and they set me up with this guy. And after a loss, I'm like, fuck, I gotta redeem myself. You know, like I was beating the guy, I took him down, everything going to plan. I got caught in a fucking armbar because I stood up instead of, you know, defending the armbar, fucking doing the chainsaw, like getting myself out of it. A basic primitive armbar. But also I was out of the cage. The last time I fought was 2017, but before that, the last time I fought was 2012. So I got tapped out with a fucking white belt armbar, which, you know, it killed me. Nothing shrinks my boner more. Oh, shit, I'm talking to a female. I'm so sorry. So nothing kills my buzz more than, you know, something that I've been drilling over and over and over again. So that entire 3 months, I'm like, no, immediately, we're going right back in the cage. I'm fighting that September. So I'm like, match me up with whoever. I don't give a shit. So like, okay, you're going to fight 145, and you'll fight against this one guy who backed out because he got signed to Bellator. So I was like, okay, great news. Like, I'm glad he backed out in hindsight. But I kept drilling arm bars for like a good 2 months. Drilling arm bars. And usually, yeah. So like arm bars. That's all I was thinking. Arm bars. So like all I was thinking. So you get to the fight. You know, I weighed in at 145, the highest I've ever, you know, I weighed in. I felt I got the big old mini dad bod. It was great. I fought against Michael Dupree, who's a former champion with that promotion. And, you know, instead of attacking, I said, okay, instead of being an attacker, because that guy.
David. You too. No.
We just lag out?
Are you in New York? Is that the reason why you're lagging out there?
I think I'm in New York. That's the reason why I'm lagging out right now.
Yep. East Coast shit.
Sorry. Unbelievable. No, back to my sword. So I let him. So he rushes in. You know, he goes for a takedown. I'm defending, and my coaches are like, "Calm down, fucker." So I pull guard, and then go for an armbar, and I almost get him, and then I swept him, got on top. I'm like, "Okay, now we can do this." So it was literally I'm turning to a grappling match for the entire duration. They ruled it for a draw, so it was fun. It went to a draw with Suffs, but best experience ever. Just saying.
Let's say, unless if you didn't figure that one out, like you'd probably bring that armbar to your grave, like your last words, just beating yourself up. That would piss me off. That's how I feel about my rear naked choke that I lost to. Should know better.
How many times when you lost to a rear naked choke? How many times did you just like reach up and like grab that top arm and like peel it, or top hand?
Guess how many times? Give me a number.
5. Oh.
0. You know why? Because I think I was so comfortable. I was like, because I never get tapped out in my gym. There's one person in this city that has tapped my ass out, and she has medals all over this damn country. And even my coach, when I first started groundwork, I mean, we were just working one night, and he was trying each different angle, whatever way possible. I'm really flexible. I don't freak out on the ground, and he could never get me a tap out. So that's one of the things that impressed him before I even started fighting. He's like, holy shit, I just did all this crap to her, and she never even freaking tapped, and she couldn't tap because I'm double jointed and such. When it came to the rear naked choke, I was so used to being just in an uncomfortable position. I don't freak out. I was just so calm. I thought I had time to figure out where I was going, and watching my fight, it just looks like a day and a half. Like, what the fuck is she doing? Is she ever going to try to defend it? And I'm honestly just there thinking, but not thinking that she's going to drive it deeper. I mean, I really underestimated the girl, and that was my biggest fault, is that I knew I had it, and I let her have it because I was too damn calm. And that's how I lost the 2 fights I've lost. I went into her too calm, and which is totally an ass kicking when I say I don't want to go in there anxious, and I go in there too calm and I fucking lose it anyway. So
as a coach, like how do you feel like? And that's such a great thing that you brought up. Like, you're the best fighter in the gym. For some reason, it won't translate to the cage. Like, it's completely a whole different ballgame. Why do you think that is, from a coach's perspective?
I'm not sure about the coach's perspective. I think at least, you know, I'm training a couple people now to get into their debuts on K1 and MMA, and the only thing I stress to them is, like, you have to control your emotions and understand timing. And I'm telling them that because that's what I need to do, and I'm giving them my own personal testimony that if you don't practice more of your technique and stop rushing, you know, rushing is where I think everyone loses it for the most part. It takes away half your power from your punches, you know, your power from your kicks, it catches you in stupid moments in MMA. It's so fucking quick to lose MMA despite, I don't care what you do, however you do good in mitts, all you gotta do is make a mistake like that and you're done. And I try to stress to them, like, you know, to me, it's more, it is a chess game, and you have to be able to think clearly in there. And in my case, I don't do it, and some people don't, and I think they just think about that win so damn bad, or it's a lot of emotions that they you know, that they like get to them, and that's how I am. I bring a lot of, I think, anger in there. So it works for me in my K1 where I've not been defeated, but in my MMA, I was so damn happy to get on top of her and do a ground and pound that I completely lost what I was actually supposed to be doing, and I wasn't listening to my corner. So, and that's another thing too, is, you know, people don't listen to their corner, and the corner is there to help you think clear-headed about what they see and what you can't see in there. So it comes on the person and how much they're willing to listen, and, you know, I guess work as a team. It's not just your ass going in there alone. You're still a team, just, you know, despite walking in there, just your 2 feet.
Yeah, so it's pretty much trying to rush opportunities, pretty much, you say, from a fighter's perspective. And I completely agree with you. I was on top and I got caught with an armbar because I was trying to rush to stand back to my feet to take him down and keep scoring points. So I completely see it from your point of view. So it's pretty much, you know, why it doesn't translate from the gym to the octagon is because people are trying to rush opportunities, opposed to like just letting it naturally, organically happen, pretty much.
Yeah. I think that's the story of everyone's life, just rushing everything, just slow it down, even when it comes to that. So that's the one thing.
We're instant gratification with everything, from Tinder to, you know, you can get fast food to everything's instant gratification. And I think it translates also into the octagon where people are trying to rush, trying to end and get that fight, get in, get out, trying to get that win as quickly as possible, not just letting it, you know, calm down and just like fucking breathe in, smell the fresh air, listen to that one guy drunk in the front row saying, kick him in the dick. Like everyone wants this rush through the entire process. So I completely see it from your point of view. And I think the instant gratification fighter is always going to lose to the person that's going to be patient and waiting. And I lost to the guy who was patient, waiting, and he came in for a chess match and I came in with checker pieces. And I just, you make an absolutely fucking brilliant point. Like, it just blew my mind when you said that. Like,
I'm smart.
You are very smart.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting way. And how people, you know, you can come in, and I totally believe that someone can totally kick someone's ass, but it just really depends on what happens in the ring, which sucks. Like I said, I know I'm a lot better than what I show, and I think I'm too worried about showing others what I can do than actually doing what I do well. And it hasn't paid certain ways. You know, in some ways it has, but, you know, K1, you know, you can't make as easy as a mistake as you can in MMA to lose your whole damn fight. So, yeah, it's a lot of different things people don't think about when they step in there, and when they're like, what the fuck just happened? And they're watching their, you know, their favorite fighter on UFC, and they just, shit happens. You never know. It's just a great thing about sports. You know, it's just always up in the air, and people make mistakes, and when people else finds that little hole that you made, they're going to take advantage of it. If they're smart enough, if they're well trained, they're going to see that hole that you just did, and you got to just go back and do it over again. And it's not a big deal, which, you know, not to kick yourself in the ass over every time, but you got to give props to the people that go in there and then go back in there again, and then go back in there again, make that same damn mistake, and then go back in there again and keep fucking drilling it when you get out. So.
And that's why you're fucking awesome and you're a badass, my friend.
Yay, thank you.
No problem.
You too.
So we're going to wrap up the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Karina, any last words for our parting guests and for the people watching at home?
Check out my show, our show next Wednesday. I have the Wednesday shows with Allie. It's at 7:30 Eastern time. No, 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Central time. We have Evan Elder, who is a homegrown fighter here out of St. Louis. He just made his LFA debut. He won it. I was just letting Matt know. He's literally like the nicest guy in MMA. Sweet dude. He's down there, I think, in Stanford MMA with another friend of mine. Great guy. You really need to watch him. Evan Elder next Wednesday. And thank you guys for having me for my first time on here.
Fucking awesome. I can't wait. And Matt, any parting words to the producer?
Nope. Just make sure you tune in the next couple of weeks. I have a really special guest possibly lining up. It's going to be really awesome. Shoney Carter is coming on next week, so that's going to be a great time. And for the Wednesday show on the 23rd, we have Matthew Cottle, and on the 30th, I just lined up Invicta fighter Alicia Zapatella.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Super excited.
Yeah.
All right, so boys and girls, children of all ages, all my friends watching at home and all Karina's friends, get ready. You better watch the show every Wednesday or I'll hurt you. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us for the Fight Mixer. I'll fix my internet next week. Signing off. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Hi, I'm Matt Seibel, producer of the Fight Mixer Show. We have a good lineup of guests coming up next week. Take a look for yourself.
Just to put you on a set of reminders, I'm on my grind to do these things and bring in the blame. This is Shoney Carter, Mr. International. Playing with a passport. I'll see you on the Fight Mixer, September 3rd.